threatened them, imprisoned them, and targeted their wealth and status. They love many abandoned their principles, many abandoned their spiritual and Islamic principles. Their love for comfort became stronger than their love to stand up for the truth, to stand up with the Imams, to stand up for what they truly believe. Due to their love for dunya, due to this disease that is the love for the dunya. The psychology of racialization, one of the most dangerous abilities Allah has given a human being is the ability to justify our mistakes. Rarely does a human really admit their own mistakes. Like, for example, am I betraying the Imam instead of inventing any excuses, which the Kufan people should have done? I imagine the thought of some of the Kufans was really, oh, I have children to take care of. I can't risk my livelihood. Someone else could support him instead of me. The situation is too complicated. I agree with Imam Hussein, but I need to stay safe. I need to keep myself safe from this war. Notice sometimes none of these excuses truly sound evil. However, that is precisely what makes them dangerous. Most betrayals are disguised as reasonable decisions by the human to keep themselves safe. It's always the nafs, and the nafs rarely says, choose falsehood instead of saying justice once. I'll give you an example of someone who chose the truth over his dunya. For example, we have Habib ibn Mudahar, was very different from the rest. Let us compare the Kufans to the companion of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Take Habib ibn Mudahar. He was an older man. He knew the odds weren't in his favor. He knew that death was almost certain if he stood with Imam Hussein. Yet he rushed to Karbala. You may ask why? Because Habib has spent his entire life training for this moment. Habib spent time, he spent effort, he trained most of his life for this moment, to stand up with Imam Hussein, to stand up for the truth instead of backing out and choosing dunya. When the test came, he responded according to the habit he had already built, he had already trained for. He had already drilled into his own mind. This is a crucial lesson for us young people and elderly people. No matter how old you are, you can always stand up for the truth. You can always rely on Imam Hussein. You can always rely on the truth, no matter how hard it is for you. Nobody becomes a hero on the day of Ashura. The heroes of Ashura have been already preparing for years. Likewise, the betrayers of Ashura, the people who betrayed Imam Hussein, have also been preparing for years. However, through conspiracies, through excuses and spiritual laziness, these people have gotten scared, have lacked knowledge, were ignorant. They cared about their materialistic life, they cared about their dunya more than standing up for the truth. The hidden betrayals of today. I'll give you some modern examples. For example, many of us hear this story and think, I would never in my life think about betraying Imam Hussein. I would never abandon Imam Hussein. But Shia scholars often remind us that every age has a Karbala. There will always be a Yazid. There will always be a hero, and in every age demands a choice between right or wrong, or between right or left. There's always a choice for someone to make. Today, betrayal may not look like carrying a sword, swinging a sword around, screaming and fighting with swords or guns or anything. Instead, it appears in subtle forms. When we know an Islamic obligation but ignore it. When we know teaching of Ahlul Bayt but refuse to follow them. Like when we listen to stories, when we listen to Sayyid or Shaykh on the number talk about a story and we don't listen to it, we don't stand up for it, we don't follow it, we don't go with it. When we stay silent in the face of injustice, when we sacrifice our values to gain acceptance, when we when we conspire our religion to fit into society. These are betrayals of Karbala, but they emerge from the same psychology, the habit of choosing comfort over truth, the habit of choosing the dunya over the truth that we were always taught to follow and protect. Which leads me to one of my last points, the connection that we have to Imam al-Mahdi Ajalallahu Farajah. As Shi'as, we cannot disguise or discuss loyalty without discussing the Imam of our time, Imam al-Mahdi Ajalallahu Farajah. Many people say, if Imam al-Mahdi appeared today, I will support him no matter what, which is also what the Kufan people said. But history teaches us to be cautious. The people of Kufa also believed they would support Imam Hussein at all times. They wrote thousands of letters promising that. Words are easy, loyalty is difficult. Our scholars tell us that preparation for the reappearance is not merely waiting, it is self-purification. It is devoting the character that remains loyal when obedience becomes costly. The question is not whether we love Imam al-Mahdi. The question is whether we are becoming the type of people who would remain steadfast beside him, who would stand up for the truth. Salawat. The tragedy of Karbala was not caused by only evil people. It was caused by all